Hi, good afternoon. So 2 years ago, I had this amazing opportunity to talk to one of my friends who was 9 years old then, who attended a school for the blind. And she's a really curious person. She asked a lot of questions about what she learned in school and everything else. But that day, one of the questions that she asked me was, what color is my hairband and my hair tie? They were both pink, so I told her, they're both pink and they really look good on you. And her next question really paved the road to what I do now, which is creating a website for the blind. She asked me, now that you say that they really look good on me, I want to know more about the color and what color pink is. Can you explain it more so I can get a better sense of what it is? And honestly, I can't even tell you how frustrated I am, because as much as I wanted her to know what the color is and what kind of feelings that evokes, I was so scared that she'd get mad at me or get offended because I mentioned something that's only noticeable by people who aren't blind. But I spent like 10 or 15 minutes thinking about things that I could relate to the color pink, things that she might have touched or felt before that could be related to the color and the feeling it evokes. And at the end of the day, somehow it worked out fortunately, and she told me, thank you very much. I feel like I know the color better, and I think you felt the color as I would do if I weren't blind. And afterwards, I thought about what the conversation meant to me. And I thought, as much as I was confused and embarrassed while I was explaining the color to her because I was scared that I'd make a mistake, I was fascinated by the words and the power of my voice as I was telling her what the color pink meant. Voice can carry a lot of meanings, not only something that you know literally, but something that you want to get across, your feelings and your emotions. So I decided to create a website because if kids like her cannot access the educational resources as the way other people do, for example, by reading or communicating with others in a certain way, let's give them voices. Let's give them voices through which they can learn and they can access those resources more easily. So I created Lights Beyond Lights, which is an organization under which I create and develop websites for the blind. And I went online to see some of the previously existing websites for the blind or educational resources that were available online. And I saw some good websites with a lot of good resources and decent strength and decent resources, but the thing was, they were at high costs. So people couldn't really afford all the educational resources on those websites at their leisure. And also at the same time, the voice guidance system on those websites were so hard and difficult for the blind people to navigate on them. So I decided to solve those two problems while I was creating those websites. So this is the first website that I created. It's called Lights Beyond Lights. It was named after my school because that's where I got my initial recorders from, even if I moved on to different organizations and different volunteers after on. So on this website, taking account into all the problems that I encountered while looking at other online resources, I meant to adopt two main technologies for this website. The first one being a voice guidance system, 100% human voice, telling you where to go. So for example, if your mouse is over a certain icon or an object or a text or image on the website, it would read out to you what it is, so you don't really need someone to sit next to you and tell you what to click and where to go. And the second technology was that a hotkey system, which means when you're listening to an educational recording, you can maneuver through the recording and stop and pause or move on to the next recording or go back to the previous recording using keyboards. So this was the homepage of the first website, CLBL. 5 letters, this is all we wanted, simplicity and accessibility. The 4 first letters meant the 4 categories I wanted the educational recordings to go on, being English, history, science, and fun topics. And the last letter was for information about this website, where visually impaired users would go on there and look up the website's functions and keyboard systems, and the technologies that they need to use in order to maneuver through the website without anyone's help. So after working with a lot of schools and institutions for the blind and trying to distribute the website, I figured there were a lot more things I could add to the website. The first thing being the social networking system, not so much as Facebook or Twitter do, but I wanted a platform on the website where people, including users and volunteers, communicate and interact on the website. I also wanted an open platform, so whereas on my previous website, I needed to go through all the recordings that all the volunteers sent me, edit it, and put it on the website, I wanted this new website to have an open platform on which people could upload their own recordings directly onto the website. So there was ShareVoice, the second website that I created. This is a homepage that's slightly different categories from before. The first being educational recordings, where all the educational recordings would go under. The second one was daily updates, so what's going on in the world, contemporary issues or news around the world. The second one was talks, under which all the blind users and visually impaired users would use their voices to communicate with others. And the last one being information about this website. So this is an example of a recording page that you would see if you go under an educational recording category. So you could use all those buttons, and using ActionScript, you could just record what you're interested in and just post directly to the website. So it's efficient and fast. And also for the forums where both users and volunteers communicate to each other, under the talks page, there was the recording button, so you can just click on it and post your personal thoughts or opinions on whatever you're interested in and share with all the community that's using the website. Also, in the bottom of the page, there's a volunteer community tab where people can go under, especially volunteers, and share their thoughts and encourage each other and have social presence on the website. So let me take you back to the girl who I talked about in the beginning of my speech. The girl who I met in a school for the blind in Korea, who I talked about the pink hair tie and hat. When I see her, I don't only see an individual who's visually impaired, but I see a girl with all the possibilities and potential in the world. I see a strong and persistent individual who may be slightly physically disadvantaged, but is never debilitated. I see an individual who is physically damaged, but not dispirited at all. And if she and other kids like her have the strength and ability to overcome their conditions, which I strongly believe in, and then we as a whole then have the strength to help them overcome it and to help them do so. So some may think it's a hard task, and I'm not going to deny it, it is. Some may say it's an ambitious project, and it is. But the unique aspect of this project is that anyone, no matter where you're from, what your nationality is, where you live, what kind of class you're from, or what kind of job you have, you can all participate and help them have the voice that they need. And with all the voices that we create, when all the voices come together, both literally and figuratively, then we'll be able to play the tune, the sweet tune of visions and dreams and possibilities. Thank you very much.